Students, it is good to be with you guys again. Today with a video, tomorrow I hope to be with you again back in person. Hey, one thing that I have always wondered is what it would have been like to travel with Jesus and to look through his eyes and see what the cities and the towns and the roads all would have looked like. Now this week, while you're studying for these midterm tests, in Bible class you'll be working on your midterm project. And what we are going to do is together as a sixth grade is build a model of Jerusalem in the time of Jesus. Each one of you guys is going to be assigned a very important part of that city, and then we're going to bring it next week into the same space and place all these different parts onto the city map of Jerusalem in the time of Jesus. Now, in order to help you get the best possible grade and allow your project to be the most amazing that it ever could be, we're going to together walk through your midterm project packet. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my packet. You want to go ahead and grab yours, and a pen or a pencil will be super helpful. I'll see you on the other side. Hey, welcome back. So here you have your midterm project, and you'll notice that there are 6 icons that are laid out across the front of your packet there. And that is because that there are 6 key steps that we're going to be taking to make sure that our project is both clear and then we get the best possible grade. So here, how about you open up your packet to the first page. I'm just going to scroll on down. The first step is a overview. Now, my goal is that by the end of the project that you will be able to do 4 things very, very well. The first thing is that you're going to want to design a cultural component of Jerusalem in Jesus' time. Secondly, you're going to want to match important pieces of Jesus's cultural context. We've talked about that. We want to match that to some of the familiar stories in the gospel. And thirdly, there's a couple steps that are involved in biblical research. We'll talk about that more later on this school year, but this project is an important first step. And then lastly, you're going to work together as a team in your assigned groups. You'll hear which group you are and what part of Jerusalem you're going to be working on. So together with all the other 6th graders, you are going to design a model of Jerusalem. You will receive a personal score and a group score based on these 6 steps. Now, you should recognize the icons from the front, but here we go. First is an overview. That's what we are looking at now. Then there's going to be a research part. You do some research on your building. Then you're going to sketch it out. Then you're going to get down and build it. Your group is going to, in step 5, work on a paper together. And then individually and as a group, you're going to reflect and tell me how you felt like this process was. Now, you can earn up to 1,000 points for this midterm project. And the entirety of the project is due Wednesday, January 20th. And that might seem like a ways out, but there are some pieces that might have to be turned in a little bit sooner. And we'll talk about that more tomorrow. Now, as you notice, you can earn 100 points, and we split that up into 2 sections. There's first a section, which is 75 points, that your entire group is going to get. So say that your group gets 70 out of the 75 points, then that's a part of your grade as well. Now, the last 25 points in your grade, that is your individual grade. And so that's a piece of the grade that might be different compared to your other group mates. So say a group together, they earn 70 out of the 75 points. But then let's say Johnny gets the full 25 points, so he ends up with 95 points. But let's say Eliza only gets 20 of the individual grade points, and then so she would end up with a 90. Again, if you have a question about that, we can chat about that in person tomorrow. Let's turn the page, and you'll notice that there is a model of Jerusalem. When you come to class either Tuesday or Wednesday, you are going to notice a huge table that has been laid out with this map being printed on there. So a huge table, this map has been printed on there. Now, you will be then assigned a different part within the city. You might be working on a wealthy person's home. Or maybe your team's job is going to work on Herod's palace, which will be placed right over here. Or maybe yours will be working on the Last Supper, the house where the Last Supper happened. Whatever your project is, it needs to fit within this building. Now let's flip the page again because we're on to step 2, which is research. And before we go on, I need to point out something very, very important, and that is this small icon right over here. Okay? At the top of each page, it'll say either one person in the group needs to fill this out, or let's go to the next one, everyone in the group needs to fill this out. Okay, so read the top of the page because that says if either you need to fill it out or if just one person in your group needs to fill it out. Now, after you've been given your location within Jerusalem, which will happen after this, you will want to begin your research. Now, first things first, you want to write down what your building is. And again, you'll hear what that is in just a second. Then you want to think back, what do you know about this building in Jerusalem? And then there's 3 research things that you're going to want to invest in. The first one is looking up some verses about it. The second one is that you'll want to look at the internet and just see what can you read about it. And then thirdly is you're going to want to look up some pictures. What could your building have looked like? Again, only one person in your group needs to fill this out. Let's go on to the next page. After research, we sketch. And you've noticed already, everyone in the group needs to fill out this page. Now it's important, this first word here, after you have completed your research, then sketch out what your building might have looked like. Now, everyone in your group is going to need to give me a drawing, but they all need to look similar because they're based on what you as a group found in your research. So be sure to work together as a team. Now, there's a couple of questions for you to fill out once you're done with the drawing. And again, everyone fills out this page. We go to the next step, which is the building. And only one person in your group needs to fill out this page, and it's a very simple check marking. Let me read what it says at that first bullet point. Based on your drawing, you may begin to put your building together, just like you did for the nativity assignment. Now, before you start, be sure to review the 3 requirements below, and these are the 3 things that I will be grading your project on. Remember, if your team has a question along the way, you can shoot me an email, or I'll be with you again tomorrow in class. So I'll be looking for the right cultural context. So does your building have the right layout, right? So does Herod's palace, does it have a sauna? Well, it didn't in Bible times. If your Herod's palace has a sauna, something isn't right. Number 2, does it use colors that might have been present in the time of Jesus? Neon green probably wasn't in Jerusalem. And then the third one there is a typo. You can just cross that one off. Then number 2, the right scale. Scale is another word for size. Now, because our whole class is building a model of Jerusalem, we need to make sure that everything roughly fits. Right? So if your house is about the size of the temple and Herod's palace and the place where Jesus was sentenced to death, then something is off, right? So make sure that it will fit on the map. And again, you'll see the map in class tomorrow. And then make sure that it generally has the right height. There were no skyscrapers in the time of Jesus. And then number 3, did you do a precise instead of a sloppy job? And does it show me that you have used your creativity well? So again, just one person needs to kind of work through these squares there and check mark off that this is present in your project. Now, on to the next page, and that is the paper. You'll notice at the top there, everyone needs to fill out this page. Now, together with your building, your team is going to submit one paper. Now, each person in the group is going to take one paragraph and submit that, and then someone is going to combine all of those paragraphs into a clear and cohesive paper. Now, here we go. Your team is going to have to jot down a certain amount of questions based on your building. So say that I am doing the amphitheater in Jerusalem. Okay, that's not one of the options, so don't worry about it, but just as an example. My first question for someone in my group might be, when was it found? Who found it and how did they find it, right? It's covered in a layer of sand. How was it found? Another question might be, what was this building originally used for? And then maybe a third question could be, what is it being used for now, right? All these different types of questions. If you're wondering if your question is right, how about you check in with me before you start writing? And once everyone in the team has a question to work on, then you can start working on what your part of the assignment is, your paragraph in the paper. Now, as we learned before, a paragraph has 5 to 7 sentences, and so there's just a quick way to kind of help you get started there. You want to type it up, and then send it to someone in your group. And then your team's paper will be graded on the following. Was it thoughtful in the research questions? Was the spelling and the grammar and all of that right? And then lastly, was it combined into one paper in a clear and orderly way? So we're almost there. The last part of this project is one that you want to wait till the very end for. That is the reflection. And again, you'll notice up here in the top, everyone in the group needs to fill out this page. Now, a key part of completing an assignment honestly is reflecting on your own and the team's effort. Now, complete this part honestly, privately. I will be the only one that will read what you jot down here. And here we go, a couple questions. What did you learn about Jerusalem of Jesus by doing this project? I'm sure there'll be a lot of interesting facts that you'll have uncovered. Secondly, how did I contribute to my team's grade during this project? That's about your own efforts during this midterm project. And then you're going to reflect on your team, and you're just going to rate yourself and the rest of your team on these 4 different areas. Now, again, if there's any questions, you can shoot me an email. I will also be with you guys again on Tuesday. And overall, I am so excited to, together as a 6th grade, picture what it would have been like to live in Jerusalem at the time of Jesus.